Hi Pisces, welcome to your annual 2023-24 Astrology Horoscope forecast. I'm Anisha. I talk everything around astrology and tarot. Let me break down the year for you. We're opening the year with two retrogrades. We have Mars, which is there in your house of home, and then we have Mercury, which is retrograde in your groups of friendship. So we're starting the year on a quiet note. We have a lot of reflection which is there, which is happening at home. Maybe there is some amount of renovation that is happening. Maybe there is some amount of shifting that is going on, some amount of moving or changes that are being done at home. And because we have Mars, which is quite a restless energy, you could just be feeling also quite confined at home. Mercury, on the other hand, is going to be, you could maybe feeling slightly let down by your friends, and this is also a time not to be buying heavy ticket items. It's not a time to be signing new contracts. It's not a good time to be doing anything new. It's a good time for researching. It's a good time for revising. It's also a good time to be redoing things that you may have that may have been pending for you. March the 8th, we have Saturn that is changing signs, and it is resonating with your ruling planet Neptune, which is there in your own sign. And it is all about healing. It's about forgiveness. It's about leaving the past behind. And Saturn in your own house, it really speaks about our own personal identity. We become quite concerned about how it is that the others perceive us, and our physical bodies also come into focus. And depending, of course, the age at which you are when the Saturn transit is happening in your own house, you could begin to see your body very clearly. So this is a time for beginning health regimes. It's a good time to be doing proper diets, and simply because it's a time where you will look into the mirror and you will see yourself clearly as what or who you are, rather than what you want to see. Also, your outlook towards life during this time, because this also speaks about your emotional makeup, that changes. It takes on a more responsible, a serious note, and this transit is there for the next 3 years. And in the beginning of transit, you may feel quite frustrated with yourself. You could feel quite let down. You could be quite low on confidence as well. And you also could reach out to others to sort of validate yourself, to boost your confidence. And when these efforts fail, you could feel temporarily quite discouraged and unsupported. But and all of this is transit, Saturnian transit pressure, which it is putting on you to help you understand that the validations cannot come externally. You need to be finding that strength within in order for transformation for you to happen, and also for you to have a stronger sense of self. Saturn is going to be ripping away anything that is superficial, Pisces, for you. So whether they're illusions about the self, whether they're illusions about your body and personal abilities, it's not going to be tolerated anymore by Saturn. And by the end result, there's going to be a newfound identity and a realistic understanding of your own self. So in terms of, as far as your career and work is concerned, you could find that work is quite slow, and there is, maybe you're not finding the progress as quickly as you may want it. But also the good thing is that all the foundation work will get done during this time, because Saturn is very rigorous. It will make sure that it's laying the foundation properly, and that is something that will stay for years to come. So say for example, if you've had a hobby and that is something that you have been indulging in along with your work, you may find during the Saturnian transit that hobby turns into your a full-time work. Maybe that is something that so far maybe it has not yielded into financial success, but during the Saturnian transit, because you work so hard on it, that it becomes sort of a laying foundation for it, and before you realize, you could be making money out of your hobby. March the 23rd, we have the planetary, most talked about planetary aspect of the decade, that is Pluto changing signs. And Pluto has been there in your house of friendships. It has been there in your house of people whom you consider your tribe, and it has done a big churn for the last 20 odd years. It's been there since 2008. And now Pluto is looking into your house of behind the scenes. This is the house of spirituality. This is also the house of our family skeletons. So this incidentally is also a house of our deep psychology, our own mental or emotional thought makeup. So the regeneration of the essence of the subconscious is the key to acquire a penetrating perception of its deep functioning. And when Pluto goes through this Neptunian experience in accordance with all the other aspects, it's a wonderful time for intuitive research of the past lives. It's a great time to be meditating. It's a great time to be discovering your clairvoyant possibilities. Some of you may find, that you have the ability to heal others. Some of you will find that you have a spiritual ability to connect with others. So I think the most important aspect of Pluto transit through this house is of its psychological part. It brings up deeply buried parts of your psyche, and it forces you to confront them. So it can be that some of you, it can also at times result in very childish behavior as well, but it's really impossible to hide any hidden characteristics during this time. They will come to the surface, and at times they can be quite destructive. So it can be that there's certain patterns, which are purely childish or irrational, and they will have to be corrected because they're coming up for inspection, and they need to be corrected in order for you to become a mature adult. So try and deal with these hidden and unpleasant aspects of your life, of your past, and honestly, and also without any guilt, Pisces, and you will be quite pleasantly surprised to find that when you're honest, your adversaries can change their opinion of you. June the 7th, we will have Pluto, which will roll back again into your house of groups of friends, just to remind you that external validations are not required. And April the 20th, we have a solar eclipse, which is there in your house of income. This is also the house of self-worth, and it is joining Jupiter over here. So it can be that some of you are picking up a new job. Maybe there is another, you found out, maybe it's a second job, and you have found another source of income, of adding to your income. And in certain cases, this also speaks about an enhanced self-confidence. So try not to be too cocky or get carried away with the thing of I know it all and I can manage it. But Jupiter does tend to exaggerate our own sense of confidence as well. May the 5th, we have a lunar eclipse, which is there in your house of partnerships and marriage. So something is coming to an end over here. Maybe a partnership, if you have been in collaboration with somebody, maybe that finishes. In certain cases, it can be that, you are sort of committed to taking some time off in your marriage, and you are, finally deciding it and saying, okay, this is what we need to be doing. May the 17th, we have Jupiter, which is resonating with Uranus in your house of communication and siblings. So it can be some very unusual, maybe conversations have been happening with your siblings. It can also be that there's something maybe unusual which is happening with your siblings, and you hear the news about it. Maybe there's a lot of communication around it or conversations around it. On October 14th, we have a solar eclipse, which is there in a house of joint finances and resources. This is something which impacts your partner's income. It could be that your partner's income gets enhanced during this time. And on October the 28th, we have a lunar eclipse, which is there in your house of communication. So some amount of focus, which is there in the way that you communicate and how it is that you communicate. It is not what it is that you're saying, Pisces. This year, again, it is about how it is that you're saying. A lot of focus is going to be there as well. And even the community where you live, maybe, some of you could be changing. There could be some conversations. So you could be changing your neighborhood, your area of work, or you could be more actively involved. The interesting thing is that the entire year we have the retrogrades, that is Mercury retrograde, which is there in earth signs. And it's a very earthy, practical, pragmatic energy that is there. And Pisces, you being a watery sign, you tend at times not to sort of make a commitment. You like to flow, go with the flow. But this is a year which is about practical issues. So you need to be implementing. You do need to be on an implementation mode. Thinking, planning is not enough. I mean, if you have been procrastinating for the longest, or even if you say, oh, I haven't had the time, this is the year. Should you go ahead and implement things, it will be quite successful for you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Pisces. I wish you a fabulous 2023. I'll see you again soon, and thank you so much for watching.